Oh boy, disclaimer.
Somewhat annoyingly, despite every source I read before making this series saying otherwise, it turns out that Treehouse XXXI isn't airing until the 1st of November, aka tomorrow. As you can imagine, this is a huge pain in the ass and unfortunately squanders my plans. I was hoping to release my review of the 31st Treehouse installment today, but since it hasn't been released, I can't, throwing a spanner into the works. Thankfully, the Simpsons seemed to predict the future again here and threw me a big juicy bone. In season 27, the creators decided to do something that had yet to be done in the Simpsons timeline and release a Halloween special that is actually part of the Simpsons canon. Halloween of Horror. You could argue that the first Treehouse segment was also canon as all the segments were told as ghost stories, but I won't. The idea of a Halloween episode taking place in Simpsons canon is an intriguing one. Did they pull it off? Well, it was written by Carolyn O'Mine, who wrote Dial N for Nerder and Night of the Dolphin, which is promising. Then again, she also wrote the entirety of Treehouse of Horror 22, so who the hell knows? Let's dive in and find out. Halloween of Horror has 3 story arcs. The main one is focused on Lisa. She's excited because she is finally old enough to go to Krusty Land Halloween Horror Night. However, the realistic gore and overbearing performances of the actors at the event scare Lisa out of her skin, helped in no way by Homer, who managed to lose her in a crowd of zombies. The event traumatises Lisa to the point where she develops a fear of all things Halloween, especially the decorations. Because of this, Homer is forced to cancel his usual evergreen Terror's Halloween activity and take down all of his decorations. The idea of Homer being a major part of the neighbourhood's Halloween spirit is really cool. Seeing him and the family getting excited about the holiday is really nice. It adds more depth to their characters. We also see some more depth to Lisa's character as she reunites with her childhood stuffed toy, Taylor, because she feels it keeps her safe. The second story arc fits into the first one. While shopping at Apu's for some more Halloween decorations, Homer gets an offer from one of the travelling workers. After Homer inadvertently tells Apu about this, he fires all 3 of them. They then vow their revenge and arrive at Homer's house later on to get even, whilst he looks after the traumatised Lisa. Being honest, these travelling workers are kinda eerie. I like the strangers vibe they all give. The idea of travelling workers stalking customers and breaking into their homes to cause trouble sounds like something from Criminal Minds. The animators did a great job making these guys look chilling and creepy. Where are Bart, Maggie and Marge during all this? Well, that's where the third story arc comes in. Bart is devastated about potentially missing out on Halloween, so Marge attempts to take him to another neighbourhood to go trick-or-treating. It's the smallest story arc of the episode, but it holds its own merit. We see just how much Marge loves Bart, going out of her way to try and make his Halloween a happy one. Seeing Bart's utter devastation at missing Halloween really pads out his character. I really feel his pain, especially with the global goings on at the moment. It's also the lead up to the musical number NC-17 Halloween, a song about the adult side of Halloween sang in the style of Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm in 2 minds about this musical. On the one hand, it's beautifully animated, fantastically sung by the voiced cast, and the imagination behind all the adult themed costumes the characters wear is great. But on the other hand, it really doesn't fit in with the rest of the episode. It just happens and that's it. It's awesome but extremely random and out of place. Well, that's it for the spoiler-free section. If you have yet to watch this episode and don't want the ending spoiled for you, please skip to this time code. Go on, I'll wait. So as I mentioned before, Homer is looking after Lisa and trying to keep her calm at the house when the travelling workers from before show up. After realising he is being stalked, he locks all the doors and windows. You have to admire Homer here, really going out of his way to make sure Lisa feels safe whilst also bricking his pants himself. Eventually the workers break in and Homer and Lisa escape into the attic. Whilst there, they both have a heart-to-heart about being scared. This is one of the most wholesome scenes in The Simpsons I've seen in a very long time. Homer admitting to Lisa that he has lied to her in the past is a big deal because he's admitting his faults to his daughter. Admitting to a child that you're also scared is a huge thing to do as well. Lisa has a brainwave and decides they should use all the different holiday decorations they have to alert the neighbourhood for help. Seeing Homer and Lisa trying to escape through the window whilst the thugs are attempting to break into the attic is pretty tense. Sadly, Homer can't set off the 4th of July fireworks because his matches keep being blown out by the wind. Lisa decides to sacrifice Taylor and sets it on fire so he can light the fireworks. I was shocked at how powerful this scene is. It's a fantastic reminder that we have to let go of the things we love from our childhood to move on in the world. The fireworks light up the sky, making the neighbourhood happy. Upon realising they are in danger, the citizens of Springfield come to the aid of Homer and Lisa and the thugs are arrested. But just when you thought this episode was wholesome enough, Chief Wiggum, knowing how tough the travelling work life can be, promises to help them get work when they get out of prison. Marge, Bart and Maggie return to find Lisa has beaten her fear and is happy to celebrate Halloween again, much to the delight of Bart, who gets his Halloween fun after all. And that was Halloween of Horror. It was certainly an interesting episode, but was it a good Halloween special? Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the overall. The good. The story arcs. All 3 story arcs were well written and fit well together. Lisa's story is fantastic because we get a deeper look into her character. Seeing her in a vulnerable state is heart-wrenching. Bart being upset about having to miss Halloween is also great, again allowing us to see a side of Bart that isn't shown often. Seeing his disappointment really hits home, as does seeing Marge trying her hardest to satisfy him on his favourite day of the year. And the episode also had its eeriness thanks to the 3 thugs trying to break into the house and exact revenge on Homer. All 3 story arcs blend together to give us a wholesome, loving tale with powerful messages and great character development whilst also giving us some chills too. The animation. The animation is stunning throughout. Evergreen Terrors looks awesome, as does the neighbourhood Marge tries to take Bart to. The Krusty Halloween of Horrors park is a visual orgasm in my eyes, with some great detail going into the designs. The animation used with the 3 thugs is also amazing. Again, just look how chilling some of these shots are. Breathtaking. The musical number is also extremely well animated. I can only imagine how much work went into animating this choreography, especially with all the different costumes on display. The voice work. The voice acting in this episode is some of the best I've heard in a long time. Special shout out to Yardley Smith, who delivers one hell of a performance as Lisa. Also credit must be given to the rest of the voice cast for their excellent performances of their respective characters, especially when it comes to the musical number. The excitement. Seeing all the characters getting giddy about Halloween the day before is extremely relatable and a nice change of pace. The characters all being happy and showing joy in Halloween is also wonderful and shows all the fun Halloween can bring. It has me pumped up for the day and gets me in the Halloween spirit. The ending. The ending to this episode is extremely powerful and emotional, even rivaling most Christmas episodes. I'd argue that it's probably the best ending to any Halloween special of any show I've seen, and trust me, I've seen a lot of them. The bad. The musical number. It's just so out of place. Sure, it's awesome, so I won't be too harsh, but it literally pops up out of nowhere, only to go as quick as it appeared. I wouldn't mind if there was build-up or reference to it, but it literally just jumps at you like Michael Myers jumps out at horny teenagers. Homer is a bit of a dick. Yes, I know he stated he is pretty awesome towards the end of the episode, but that doesn't excuse him for being a tool for the rest of the episode. Not only does he allow Lisa, his scared 8-year-old daughter, to leave the event because the tickets were expensive, but he even loses her and somehow mistakes Hans Moleman for her. Also, despite seeing how traumatised Lisa is, he still drinks in front of her and says that it's Marge's day with her. Still, he does at least make up for it in the 3rd act. The credits scene. It's just odd. Maggie finds a half-burnt Taily and it magically restores itself. Then she just stares at the camera as it zooms in on her whilst the Halloween theme plays. Why? I haven't a notion. It's just so pointless and only used so they can shoehorn in a classic horror theme, which is entirely pointless as Homer was heard whistling it earlier in the episode. The overall. I love this episode. Sure, it has a few niggles, but that's just me being nitpicky. This is a fine Halloween special and one of the best I've seen, from its spooky atmosphere to its fantastic animation. I'm giving Halloween of Horror a 9.5 out of 10. Sure, it doesn't quite match up to Treehouse of Horror numbers 5, 11 and 20, but it's still fantastic. It had powerful messages, interesting character growth, stunning animation, and it brings to life everything that makes this time of year so special. Add to that some genuine chills and some fun references, and you have yourself a Halloween classic that you should definitely watch every year. I know I do. And that's it for this video and this review. Do you agree with me or do you think I'm something stupid? Look, it's been a long 31 days, cut me some slack. What did you think of Halloween Horror? Let me know in the comments below. Before I go, I just want to say a special thank you to Kiana Whitley. I'm sorry if I butchered that, for not only suggesting I review this to make up for the issues I mentioned earlier, but also for commenting on every single video of this series so far. You really are the real MVP of the comment section, so thank you so much for your support. And thank you everyone else for watching as well. I hope to have the Treehouse of Horror 31 review ready by the 8th of November at the latest. Thanks for your patience guys. I'll see you next time.